Everybody, it's Megan again. Here's video number 2 to address some productivity and efficiency concerns and needs in our classrooms. And as you know, a few years ago, administration, we moved towards submitting our lesson plans, and a couple different teachers were exploring different online sources and different types of plan books and using Google and all sorts of ways to help make the process a little bit more efficient. So as you might have remembered, that I presented on a program called Planboard, and I really at the time thought it met all of our needs. We could create templates with all, as you can see here, you could create a template of the objectives, the activities, resources, everything that we needed. Also within that lesson, you could add you could link standards, you could link Google Documents. It seemed to be a very efficient way to get the job done and to be able to have all of our materials there. What I've noticed is in a year like this year, with our construction calendar and our instruction calendar really became impacted by that. I know for myself there were whole units I had to cut before winter break. I'm looking now, there seems to be extra time in the springtime, and so trying to find and move the schedule around all of a sudden became very difficult. As I'm going to kind of scroll through here and show, when we came in late, you'll see that there's all these blank untitled lessons, the drama unit. What happened was I had to move each one of these days units and adjust to the calendar, and it became very inefficient. So I've fallen out of love a little bit with Planboard, and going back online to find programs that are increasing our efficiency. It should become more difficult to have plans online. So the program that I'm going to explore and talk to you about today is one that we did bring up years ago, and that would be Planbook. I'm going to help you start off your new plan book. I'm actually going to start this school year even though we're in the third trimester, but just to kind of get the process for it, how you would start a new school year. So it's pretty simple. Lays out, you're going to start your school year. Let's go back in case I want to revisit the school year. We'll go to our first day. We'll go to our very extended last day on June 19th. Now notice when I tried this a couple years ago, I had some different classes, so I'm not teaching those classes anymore. I'm not teaching that class anymore. So I'm not teaching that class anymore. So I will see what happens when I carry over these two, and then hopefully we can add some new classes to it. Class days, again, all of this has changed, so I'm just going to continue because we're so different from that point. We can add these school events. And notice that this is all that I have. So I'm going to go in and show you this menu. This is your main working area. So what we can start from here is adding some classes. Again, since the last time I did this, I had many different classes. So you go to that main menu, you hit add class, pretty straightforward. I'm going to add my pre-algebra class, which I can't type. Same start date, we'll make it green. It's every single day, and you can move forward from that. So hit save. And then let's see, I have going to add another class. Add my class name for Academic Connect. Again, meets all days, going to hit save. So here you can lay out you can call it your different class periods, you can, your different section numbers, so you can label your class however it works for you. So now I'm going to go to the plan section. Now here you can see how it's laid out throughout the week when we come back on Monday, adding English. So here you have your main page. Now, what I want to teach you to do right now is, we have an expectation of a certain template that we need to turn in for all of our lesson plans. So instead of having to recreate that every single day, the most efficient way is to, again, this home button to your right hits all of the main keys of what you're looking for. And you'll see there's a key called templates. So what I'm going to do for all of my classes, I'm going to add one template and add to let's start with English, and then add the pieces that administration is looking for, right? So we need our objectives, we need our lesson plan, we need resources, differentiation, technology, and reflection. So now that I've created this template, objectives, lesson plan, resource, differentiation, technology, and reflection, I can hit save, and then that is just my lesson type template. So then when I go back to my plans, notice that it has plugged in that template for all of my classes. So let's move through lesson planning. As we said, you can set up a template that applies all of the pieces that administration is looking for in your lesson plans. Or if you go into, let's say, let me start something new with algebra, you'll notice that their lesson planning is already set up with the majority of the tabs that we are looking for. There's you could add your objective, your activity, the task, resources, assessments, differentiation, standards. We'll get to that in a little bit. So the only thing that you're missing that you could add is the reflection component and technology. It really comes down to how you like looking at your lessons. If you want to go in individually and click on these tabs, you can do that, or if you like sort of seeing everything all at once, I would recommend adding the template. But that's all just a matter of course. So let's get into just sort of planning your units. So I'm wrapping up my poetry unit. So I'm actually going to be taking some of the information from old plan board and moving it into plan book as I finish out the school year. But you'll see I have my things set up. But let's look into how you can help this in your efficiency when you're looking at standards. So you click on the standard tab, add the plus sign, and notice that I've already sort of added all of my standards. So let me show you how this works. You click on the standards that you are looking for, and it's going to have more than we are at Canada offerings, England offerings, what you're going through here for our U.S. Our Common Core. But one that I did notice is Bloom's taxonomy. So if you're looking to make your lessons just really improve or increase rigor in your planning, you could add Bloom's taxonomy standards so you can kind of keep track of your options for what you are adding to your lessons. So let's save. Why can't I look at that? So here they are. So you can, as you're sort of evaluating and reflecting throughout the school year, you can add those standards to make sure that your lessons are robust and you're adding different types of learning and application to all of them. So I just thought was an interesting component that previous lesson plan books did not have. But let's go back to our Common Core. So for my poetry lesson, I'm going to be focusing on reading and literature. I am going to be looking at Reading Literature Standard 5, and I would simply apply that to my lesson. So when I print this up or when I'm evaluating, have I addressed all my standards throughout the school year, there's pieces of this program that will analyze that data for you. So I hit save, and notice now my lesson, I have an attached standard along with everything that I'm planning for the day. The other piece that adds to your efficiency is when I click into this lesson, you'll see that these two attachment pieces down here. So Planbook will talk with your Google Drive account. And then you can link your items that you want to have for that day. So when the kids come back next week, they will be working on their poetry analysis, and I can just link that document. So for yourself, for administration, for subplans, everything that you need, or if you want to review it, if you're forgetting. I know sometimes things get lost in Google Drive, so now you have it there and you know what you are looking for. So you have a complete lesson Hit save again, remember? Always hit save. So now back to over here, I'm looking at my complete lesson, all of the pieces, my standards, and the attachments that I need for that day. Finally, let's look at the last piece of Planbook that really, I think, makes this an efficient planning tool for teachers. Like I said, with our schedule this year, I'm sure most of us struggled with moving units around just because the schedule was so strange. And that was the real limitation of Planboard, is you had to move lessons day by day instead of thinking about, my poetry unit is 16 days or the giver is a 28-day unit, and moving those as blocks. You had to move each unit and push each lesson day by day by day forward, and it just became absolutely frustrating and inefficient. So what you can do with Planboard, so say here I've set up my poetry unit. What you're going to do then is set up a new school year for the upcoming school year, so say 27 to 2018. And I have a Planboard then set up for that. Notice the years are different. I've already done this one, so let me show you what happens. What you can do is you take their copy button, and I'm going to choose to select a teacher. Planbook has options to share lessons between co-teachers, so that's another benefit that we could get into at another time. But right now I'm just going to use my classes. I'm going to choose my current school year, choose English, and then so my poetry unit ran, let's say, from April 10th to April 14th. But notice again, since I'm in the upcoming school year, what I'm going to do then is say I'm going to insert this lesson. Maybe since we're going back to school earlier and I've gotten through my lessons a little faster, I'm actually going to start it on May 13th and insert those 5 days at that point. But again, I'm in the wrong year, so let me bump it forward. March 19th, if I've wrapped up my lessons. So then what I would do is copy lessons, and it would actually take those entire 5 lessons and copy that, and you can scroll and see it's in a list value, and there I've populated my poetry unit. So this to me makes the entire system much more efficient than anything I've been using in the past. And notice also everything comes along with it. I have my standards, my same documents are attached. So there's flexibility to change things. I can show you how it still has the same needs of bumping lessons back, deleting them, extending them. Maybe your students need a couple more days. So it has those quick little pieces of flexibility, but I really think being able to look at your school year as a whole and be flexible with those units makes this significantly more efficient than Planboard. So it is $12 versus the other one that was free, but I think you'll find that those $12 are well worth your time. So again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to catch me in the hallway, send me an email. This has so many more resources and tools that we can look into at a later time, but hopefully this could get you started at looking at your Planbook for the 2017-2018 school year.